also thank you for making me go after the Grant Cardone of insurance. That is not fair, but I forgive you. So let's get into it. My 10 tips for market disruption. Number 1, develop a plan. What's your plan? When I got in this business, I worked for a local mom and pop shop in central Pennsylvania. And the owner of the company said, Tyler, a lot of business owners try to do a million things well. Try to focus on finding one thing and do it and do great at it. Be great at it. So when you develop a plan, when I develop a strategy, I define what the task is and we set focus to it. So for me, when I got in the business, it was final expense. I wanted to be really great at final expense, and I was. And that was my niche. He said, find your niche. Focus on one thing and be great at it. And so I did. And that's the one thing I can suggest. I think a lot of times people get so bothered and focused on so many details, they lose focus of the entire process. Oh, I have a batch of leads. They aren't great. Do you know how many agents have come to me and said, the leads are no good? First question, well, how long have you been ordering them? 2 weeks? Like, that doesn't work. That's not a plan. Keep working. Josh Benson, my CEO, best friend, grew up with him. When I'd come out in the morning and my mom babysat him since he was 2 years old, I'd walk out in my underwear and he'd be there playing Nintendo. What's up, man? So I've known Josh my whole life. He got in the business and he started selling, and he didn't have a plan. I said, buy leads. He bought leads. He went out and he crushed it. A week later, hadn't heard from him. I was busy. At that point I was starting to grow and I was working with a few agents at that point, and I didn't hear from him for like a week and a half. I called him and said, hey man, I haven't heard from you. Yeah, he's down in the dumps. I said, what's going on? Oh, I'm not getting the results I want. He crushed it the first week. The second week, he ordered leads. He didn't get one sale. So I said, all right, well, what's up with your lead orders? Oh, well, I haven't ordered since the second week. I said, what? He's like, yeah, I haven't ordered it. And I said, Josh, you told me before you got into the business you were coming in debt-free and that you just paid off a credit card. I said, yeah. I said, I'm going to challenge you. We're going to develop a plan. For 8 weeks, you're going to spend $500 a week. Put it on your credit card. At the end of those 8 weeks, if you're not where you want to be, I'll pay it off and you can go do something else. Guess what happened? He's now my CEO and does very well. You have to believe in yourself. You have to develop a plan, and then you have to take action. And then one thing for me, my plan initially was just final expense. Your plan will change, and that's okay. You have to be willing to be flexible with what you're building. So for me, when I got in and I was starting to have success, I looked around and said, all right, well, let's take what my competitors are doing really well and let's do it. But how can I be different? What can give me a competitive advantage? So in the life side at that point, the competitive advantage was flexibility. Every group that I was competing against was very rigid in how they operated. If you didn't fit their model, their program, you were out. So I said, I want to kind of appeal to everybody. So why can't I create a platform, not a brokerage? And that's what innovative is. I have call centers in Arkansas that it's an employee model where they pay salaries plus bonuses. They do 7, 8 million a year. I have brokers that function in the traditional route. I have brick and mortars. Every type of opportunity, as long as it's morally, ethically, and financially sound, I will help someone scale. So having flexibility, I didn't want like a Wayland, our trip. I don't know if Wayland's here. Is he here? One of the best in the business, 25 years old. It doesn't get better than that kid. He is as good as it gets. He's doing the same thing that I'm doing, but he wants diversity, he wants flexibility, he wants option. If I had a rigid program that was like, you have to fall in here, and then you have to go here, and then you have to go here, Waylon never would have worked with me. I would have lost out on $15 million in life business. And he's just getting into Medicare. That's going to get scary. So you have to be willing to sit down with people, develop a plan for them as individuals. Does Tyler Rees have a plan? Of course. But my plan might be different than Peter Walker's plan. My plan might be different than Joe Violetta's plan. So I have to sit down with people on an individual basis and develop a plan for them. Communication. Talk to your people. What's the expectation of you? What's your expectation of them? What's the strategy? Write it out. Have a mentor. Develop a plan. If you're just out there running and gunning, which is what I did when I first got into insurance, I was writing 7 to 10 grand a week and golfing every day. I was a really good golfer then. I'm a terrible golfer now. Number two, let's go to tip 2. Identify your team. This is where people miss the mark. People think, let's just go and throw as much mud against the wall and see what sticks. Wrong. Who's your team? If you look at Justin, if you look at Cody, if you look at myself, if you look at other people within my company, within other brokerages throughout the entire industry, what's one common thing? They all have a team. They all have key pillars. Who are your pillars? Who are the people? It doesn't take 100. It doesn't take 200. It takes sometimes 2. It was Ryan and it was Josh in the very beginning. And I said, guys, I'm doing something special and I want you to be a part of it. And we're going to build something awesome. And I had that conversation and said, let's do it. Let's go to work. So have you had that conversation? Have you found your key people? Your key people. Of course, there's people on my team that are a part of my brokerages and my partners. But you have to have your individual team. Waylon's got to have Waylon's team. Ricky's got to have Ricky's team. Pete's got to have Pete's team. You have to have your team. But more importantly, they need to know that they are your team. Communication. If you think you can do this business yourself, good luck. If you think you can do it with 1 or 2 people, good luck. It's not going to work. Find people, empower them, have conversation, develop a plan, and you'll win. When it comes to identifying your team in insurance, who do you go to for contracting? For me, it's Taryn. She leads my team on the contracting side. So I go to her and I plug people in. Reporting, Brittany and Sarah. Commissions, Josh and Jessica. Technology, Ryan. Marketing, Matt and Brittany. Direct mail. My word, I just forgot my brother-in-law's name. Chad and Jeremy. Sorry, Chad. Hopefully you're not watching. Is this live? I hope not. Sales, Pete, who you'll have the pleasure of getting to. He does this a lot better. Normally, I'm behind the scenes saying hi to everybody, hanging out, and Pete, my brother, and all the awesome, talented people at Innovative are up bouncing around, getting everybody excited. So he'll be a treat. So I have Medicare, Peter Walker. MedSup, Justin Brock. Technology with Sunfire, Peter Walker. Virtual sales, EJ, the list goes on. I can name 100 of them. I have a team. So how am I disruptive? I introduce my team and I let them go to work. Empower the people you work with. Having a team is special. Our industry, for a long time, believed in restriction. These events were frowned upon for fear of, oh no, Johnny can't go meet Billy. He's going to love Billy and want to work with him. If you're not bringing value, that's on you. That's all, everything in this business. It's value. What value do you bring? And if you want to bring value and compete, you better have a team. So if you don't have one, identify them. Find them. And make sure they know they're your team. Next tip. Speak well of others. I know social media is a great thing, but it also can be a very bad thing and a negative thing. Don't speak poorly of other people. Speak well of others. Last night, I invited a kid to dinner that I had connected with, and he works with American Income Life Insurance Company. Now, do I think my opportunity is significantly better? Yes. Did I say one bad thing about the opportunity he's in? Absolutely not. Never would. I spoke about what I thought we did well. I spoke about what I was proud of, why people work with us. I don't ever speak poorly of others. You speak poorly of others, guess what that reflects? Fear and weakness. Let people form their own opinions. Let them meet people. For years, people told Justin Brock not to work with me, that we shouldn't partner up and try to do something special together. It took 3 years of us building a relationship, and then we finally realized, you know what? If we come together and work together, this could get pretty fun. This could get exciting. This could get disruptive. So I just can't stress enough, form your own opinions. And but also at the same time, what's it going to serve you? It's funny because you think speaking, or people think speaking poorly of others works. It actually doesn't. You want to attract the wrong person? Talk poorly about other people. So you might be getting people to join your team, but guess what you won't be seeing? Growth, success. You'll be failing, and you'll be going, wait, I got 150 people and we're writing 10 apps a week. You're attracting the wrong people. Why? Because you're sitting behind your computer screen talking poorly about people you don't even know. Form your own opinion. Meet people. Network. Be at events like this. When you do, I met Rebecca out at 1%. And someone told her, it's just going to be a recruiting IFG frenzy. And so I go and I hang out with her, and she's like, I just want you to know. That's what I was told, and I didn't feel that at all. She asked me the other day, I need help with lead vendors, or asked for a question. I said, great, here. And I sent her a page long of information. Just gave it away. No gain, just because that's what you should do. But I changed her opinion because she actually came and got to know me. So just be careful what you say about other people, because a lot of people are watching and it reflects poorly. So just always speak well of others, and more importantly, focus on what you do well. Focus on what value you're going to bring, how you're going to help. Next tip. Reach more people. So as you grow and you start having success, the more people you reach, the more you grow. So for me, it was final expense. Did that really well. Felt great about it. Was like, all right, now I'm ready. Mortgage protection. Felt great about it. Guess how many mortgage protection policies I've sold? Does anyone want to take a guess? You're right, 0. I've never sold a mortgage protection policy. Just never did it. I liked rolling my sleeves up and going and meeting with blue-collar people and helping them with final expense. My brother, for anyone that gets an opportunity to meet Adam, he's a little bougie, a little bit more than I am. If you're listening, Adam, you know it's true. He wanted to do mortgage protection. He just enjoyed that more. So when you get to the point where you're ready to create multiple revenue streams, because if you want to grow, you need to be able to create more revenue streams, but you have to have a team in place. See how it all comes together? So you start in the beginning, and if you keep just focusing on these 10 tips I'm going to go over today, and you really do it, you will have success and you'll grow. So reaching more people. Here's why it's relevant. If you want to grow and scale.
Maybe take a step back.
All right, avoid Peter. I don't know what it is. And here's so. All right, so I don't even know where I was going with that. I've totally blanked out. So I have that problem too. I said, Ryan, you're going to be somewhere close. Because at some point, I'm going to black out, because I always do it, and you're going to have to remind me of where I'm at. So with reaching more people, what I found is, as I was recruiting and growing, I would find Johnny, and Johnny would be working for Aflac. And he's making 90 grand a year. And I'd be like, hey man, I do final expense. And I think you could do better with us. It's tough to get someone that's having success and is comfortable to leave something that they're used to and transition into something brand new. Right? So I can't get, even though everyone in this room knows, Medicare is awesome. And yeah, there can be a burn, but if you stick to it, it's more fruitful than probably any other insurance product out there, for sure. But if I say to Johnny, hey, listen, like, you should come sell Medicare. You should come sell final expense. It's really tough to get them to do that. But if I can say to him, oh, you're doing voluntary benefits, great. Let me introduce you to Pete. Let me show you our technology. Let me show you our products we have. Let me show you our infrastructure, our marketing, which in that is really a lot of just word of mouth, going out and knocking on doors. Let me bring you over to a better opportunity. You'll get here. You'll get comfortable. You'll transition smoothly. Once you get here, we'll teach you, we'll show you the other avenues you can travel, and you can choose what path makes most sense for you. So because I have multiple products, I can attract more people. So you want to reach more people. And that's what I'm doing. I went from final expense, mortgage protection, annuities, P&C, which is a different animal altogether, and I'm learning. Medicare, employee benefits, group health, most recently under 65. How am I reaching more people? Even from a client standpoint. Why is under 65 and ACA so appealing? A lot of the people that are buying those plans are 55 to 64, just kind of waiting, needing some alternative until good old Medicare hits. And then guess who's there to take care of them? We are. So you want to diversify your platform, but you either need to partner with someone that already has, or it's a slow build. Either way, that you will reach more people if you build out that way. Tip 5, understand how to give. Who wants to grow? Raise your hands if you want to grow. Who spends money on marketing for leads to generate new clients? Raise your hands. Who spends over $1,000 a month? Or has it spent for them if someone's, buying you leads or whatever? Who spends more than $2,000? $5,000? Okay, hands down. All right, here we go. Next question. How many of you spend $1,000 on recruiting a month? Look around. I know Waylon's hands up back there. Why aren't you growing? I know Cody touches all the time. You got to invest. Worry about it later. I read a book in the beginning of 2017, and it said, if you cannot pay yourself for 6 months and you pour every dollar back into your business, I understand that that's not possible sometimes for everybody. But if you can do that, you'll double in size. I wrote a big annuity in December of 2016. So at the beginning of 2017, I said, I'm not paying myself for 6 months. 4x is how much I grew. Guess how much money I made in 2017? $21,000. I'll show you my tax return if you want to see it. It's not always how much you make. It's what you're worth. It's one thing that was a really good, I have a friend, triplets actually back home, the Bathons. Their dad was a successful business owner, and he said to me one time, he said, you're only, I wasn't bragging, but I was excited about getting into insurance and doing well. And he said, it's great that you're making money, but how much are you worth? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, you can make 200 grand a year, but if you spend 200 grand, you're broke. I thought, that's interesting. He's like, what really matters is how much you're worth. If you want to grow and you want to scale successfully, you have to learn how to give. And it's not just financially. It's content. Look at Justin. He's given so much knowledge. For what? I don't believe Medicare gurus, you don't have to pay to be a part of the group. He just gives. When you focus on giving and not on receiving, that's when you actually will receive more than you ever thought imaginable. And when I say give, it's give your heart to your wife, to your family, to your friends. Give your time. Give your mind. Give your resources. Invest. And I didn't ask that question about how many people spent money on recruiting because I already knew the answer. I want to grow. How do you grow so much? I invest in my business. And I do it differently now. Guess how much I spend a month in recruiting? For Tyler Rees and Innovative specifically, not my downlines. because I do help them. How much do you think I spend? 0. I spend money and invest in my people. I spend money and invest in my company. You ask anybody that works with me, I give more than anyone. And that's not just my wallet. That's my heart. That's my time. That's my mind. But now, because I've done it, I don't even have to spend money on recruiting. My days, my weeks, my time is spent talking to people that have heard about success stories of different groups and different people that work with us. So they come and they meet us. And I get to, you want to know what I do? Hey, I'm Tyler. Great to meet you, man. It's awesome. Let's talk about what you're trying to accomplish. I'm a little bit of a visionary. I enjoy kind of setting up the plan. Then I step aside and I identify my team. They get to meet everybody involved. And if you ever get to come, I've had insurance executives come into Wilmington and walk away and say, that's the most impressive group of people I've seen in my entire career. I didn't do anything. All I did was identify my team, empower them, and we work really, really hard. And we give. If I call Ryan Strathmeyer at 11:30 at night, barring him sleeping, he's picking up the phone. Megan might be upset with me. I have to apologize, but he at least picks up the phone. Taryn in contracting. You know how exciting it is when your head of contracting is sending an email at 12:30 on a Saturday night? She gives. If you give, you'll receive. But more importantly, everyone you work with, they'll start to give. And you'll grow. Tip 6. Promote your team. Probably my favorite thing in the world to do. If you follow, I don't post a lot on social media. I don't even want to try to compete with the goober. So I just try to, I'll do it a little bit here and there. People encourage me to do it more. But if you look, when I edify and promote our company, it's never about Tyler Rees. It's rarely about innovative. It's about the people that make up my team. And I promote and I edify them. Success is determined by those that surround you. If you think it's you, it's not. It's the people that work with you, that believe in you, and believe in what you're trying to do. My success is my team, period. Without them, I'm nothing. And if you think you are, you're wrong. If you want to grow, you need to delegate. Delegation's hard, especially with us. There's a lot of egos in this room. It's not a bad thing, that's fact. It's a good thing. Let go. Allow people to help. A lot of your issues are self-inflicted. I tell that to people all the time. You know, I like to call them hoppers. You know, the people that go from IMO to IMO to IMO to IMO. And it's always the IMO's fault. I say, listen, you have a Tyler Rees problem. I obviously don't say Tyler Rees. What I mean is whoever I'm talking to, if I'm talking to Johnny, I say, you have a Johnny problem. If I can be honest with you, you have a Johnny problem. You don't have a integrity problem, an AmeriLife problem, an innovative problem, a Steel City problem. You got a Johnny problem. It's kind of like when we interview people to hire them at the office and they have like 15 jobs and you look, it's over like the course of like 12 months. And I don't know if they think that's impressive. It's like scary. like
Yeah.
I never want anyone to not be honest, but my word, like that is not, it's kind of like the same thing like, oh yeah, I crushed it over here. And then I went over here and crushed it. And then I went over here and crushed it. And now I'm here crushing it. Why are you leaving if you're crushing it? There's probably something to it. So promote the people that you work with. When you do it, it's so cool for me to be able to introduce and share, all the talented people that make up our team. I mean, I look around here and we probably have 40 to 50 people that exclusively work with us. I know there's some here that probably have some contracts with us and whatnot. And that's what's special. That they're here, giving their time, their mind, their money. There was an investment to get here. Always promote the people that get you to where you want to go. Because if you think, and talk about a boring road. I was a state championship wrestler. As great as it was to win that and accomplish it, I did it. I had my dad, my whole life, pushing me, taking me to tournaments. Of course I had a team. But that feat, it was me individually. It was awesome. It was more of a relief because I worked for 18 years of my life. When my friends were out skiing, hanging out, I was working. I was training. I was up at 6 a.m. with my dad driving behind me, bumping me. I wasn't a good runner. Next slide. Teach, don't preach. Show people how to do things. Actually teach them. Don't preach. No one wants to be barked at. Do this, do this. Teach them, show them. Have patience. Garrick Diaz, he's here. Great guy. If you get a chance to meet him, say hello. I love Garrick. Spoke to him, probably 2 weeks ago. He had an agent that was struggling on the phones. And I called him and said, hey man, he's not doing well. What's going on? And Garrick's like, he's like, I don't know. He's like, I've been trying to motivate him and talk to him. And I said, get to work. Garrick's like, I got it. He spent the next 10 days, every day, listening to calls, doing calls, training him, teaching him, putting in time, giving. The guy's having success now. He dug him back out. That's what it takes. Teach people. I don't ask someone to do something I never did. I sold insurance. I could go right now. I wouldn't be as good as some of the people that are in this room, but I could probably still manage to sell a policy here and there. But you have to teach people. If someone, let's talk about the qualities of how to be successful in our business. Selling, training, managing, recruiting. You want to be great at all four. Most of us aren't. To figure out what your weaknesses are, what your strengths are. Focus on your strengths. Allow other people to help you, to help you on your weaknesses. But you have to identify those four key pieces. Teaching, don't preaching. Teach, don't preach. Next slide. Invest more than you should. There's lots of times where, I think I saw something the other day. Elon Musk, I forget, a company, he made like $200 million. And I think the story is he invested 180 in one thing, 10 million in another, and 10 million in another, and took a loan out to pay his apartment. And now he's worth $300 billion. I have agents all the time in agencies that say, wait, you're going to do what for me? No. I'm like, yeah, I am. And then sometimes, maybe it doesn't make sense. If I had every dollar back that I spent on investing in things that didn't get an ROI, it'd be a lot of money. But you got to invest. You have to be willing to take risks. We're all business owners. Bet on yourself. Invest in your people. Believe in them. Be reasonable. When I was first getting started, I couldn't take, my risks were certainly more limited. So what I would say is I'd say, all right, each agent I bring on, they're getting my time already. I'm going to teach them. I'm going to train them. And I'm willing to invest $500 to get each person started. That was the number I set. And I told them, you're going to get my time. I'm going to teach you. I'm going to help you. And I'm going to invest $500 into you. But you need to invest back into me and back into the opportunity and back into what we're building together. We got to invest. So not only should you invest more than you should, you also have to push people to invest more than they should. Communication's everything. You have to tell people what they need to do. Not everyone knows what they need to do. You have to lead them down the path. Investing more than you should. If you look at our leaderboards, if you look at any company's leaderboard, the people that are having the most success are investing the most. Peter Walker wanted to come work with us, and I wanted to work with him. Great guy, by the way. Get a chance to meet him. And he said, you need to have Sunfire. That was on a Friday. By Monday, I had the contract signed. And for anyone that knows, Tony, other people, Sunfire is not cheap. 6-figure investment. I didn't even think. Boom, done. And I'm glad I did. We had an issue with one of the carriers, and magically some apps disappeared, and thankfully we had submitted them through Sunfire. We were able to recover them and get paid. So always invest more than you think you should. And I promise you, you won't win every time, but in the long run, you'll come off better. It's just like with putting away money, right? You just put it away. The market's up, the market's down. Fast forward 30 years, you have a lot more in there than what you contributed. You'll win in the long run, but you have to invest. If you want to grow, set a number. I saw a lot of hands that did not get raised when it comes to investing in growth. How do you invest? Do you know where to spend the money properly? You don't want to just burn money. You want to be smart. Talk to the people you're working with that have experience and have had success. Don't make I tell people all the time, if you want to test out a new lead, call me. Because there's a really good chance I've already tested it. And either it works or it didn't. But talk to us. And guess what? I tell my people, if it's something I've never done, let me invest it. You invested the time to look for it, to understand it. I'll invest the money because you're growing. And that's what I want to do. So you have to communicate. Again, communication is everything. I have agents all the time. Oh, I submitted a contract 2 weeks go by. I submitted a contract, something's pending. Like, do you expect me to be like, oh, wait, Johnny, you submitted it, okay. And then every day, no, have responsibility. It's your business. I had an agent that wanted direct mail and wanted Facebook leads. Chad says, hey man, we're going to start the campaign January 4th. No, I'm going to be away. I'm not going to be back until the following week. Okay, you let us know whenever you're ready to turn it on and we'll turn it on. He never reaches out. A week and a half goes by, he talks to Peter Walker and says, I haven't gotten any leads. That's his problem. Pick up the phone. You're responsible for your success. You can rely on others and have other people help you, but checks and balances, that's your job. Always oversee, take control of your business. Tip 9. Overcome your fears like I did today. I'm actually feeling pretty good right now. I calmed down. I overcame my fear. We're always going to have fears in life. No matter who you are, no matter what you've accomplished, success or not, There's always going to be something that scares you. Face it. Embrace it. My 3-year-old was on our slide in our pool the other day. We finally got decent weather, so I turned the heat up and I got in with her. It was my last day before I left. And she's at the top. And she's all gung-ho. I want to go up the slide. I said, all right, let's do it. She gets up the slide, gets to the top. She feels like she's on, Mount Rushmore. She starts crying. And I'm like, Hadley, look at me. You got this. I had to say that about 20 times. I said, it's just fear. I promise you, when you come down, I'll be here. I'll catch you, and you're going to want to do it again. It took 20 minutes. My wife wasn't home, or we wouldn't have accomplished this. Because she'd have been like, get out of the pool and grab her. But it worked. And she overcame her fear, and she came into the water. She ended up doing it 5, 6, 7, 8 times. She wanted me at the bottom, which was fine, but she overcame her fear. That's what we do. That's what we do as people. From the time we're little, there's always going to be things that scare you, put you out of your comfort zone. Face them. You'll be better for it, I promise. Tip 10. Never find complacency. You owe it to the people you work with. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to your family. I strive every day to be perfect. I never will be. No one in this room will be. There's only one person that's perfect, God. But if I strive every day to be perfect, I'll be pretty good. And that works for me. Never be complacent. Always be innovative. Always look for the next thing that's going to separate your business from others. Complacency does not exist. When you're having a great week, I tell people on the telesales all the time, you don't have a day where you get 3 or 4 sales and it's 3 o'clock and hop off the phone and hop off the computer and watch Netflix. You ride the wave. Because on that Friday, when you're banging your head against the wall because everybody's telling you they don't want to buy anything, you made up for it the day before. So you ride the wave. When it's good, ride it. When it's tough, beat the door until it opens up. But you never can be complacent. That's what I love about everyone in this room. None of you guys are looking for complacency. You're here. You came to Memphis. That's commitment. Never be complacent. You can go to the next slide. There we go, guys. I know sometimes when I go and hear people speak, they lay out, they go through each slide, and I wanted to lay it out, and I do have some creativity. When it comes to art, I can't even do a stick figure. So my creative juices aren't always great, but I was pretty impressed with myself for putting that together. All right, next slide. And this is it, guys. I've had a lot of people over, the course of the last couple of years and few years ask me to kind of share and break down how I created Innovative in even further detail than what I shared a little bit today. So I've decided, because time is not something I have a lot of, I'm going to be hosting a mastermind in Vegas. Justin will be there. Brandon Clay, a friend of mine who's heavy in the Medicare world, he'll be there. A lot of people from my team. Brad Lee, who does Dropping Bombs, one of the largest podcasts in the country. He's going to be helping me host. And we're going to take 2 days. First day is going to be education on every step. We'll be going into the weeds. Lots of details. You think this was valuable. I promise you what you are going to learn May 13th and 14th will be. Transparency is the last word I want to close with today. I started with fear. I want to end with transparency. It's what I believe makes my company great. When I worked for the company back home in Central PA, they never had life insurance. They never had a division until me. I became their largest division within 18 months. Never received an override check off of any of the people. Never received a bonus. Was told I was going to get a $20,000 bonus. I got a turducken, which Ryan ate because I was so mad. And if I'm not eating a turducken, I'm upset. I'd put together meetings. I'd find product. I'd invite carriers in. It'd be time for the meeting. Door would get slammed in my face. I was on a 25% contract. No leads, writing $300,000 a year. I was a great golfer. But in the eyes of the world, you could say I was being taken advantage of. When I left that day, and it wasn't that long ago, March 2015, I walked out those doors, me, myself, and I. And my one vow was whatever I build, whatever I create, and I certainly didn't think it would be what we have, I would always be transparent. And primarily the life space, I grew. I fought tooth and nail. I bought contracts out. I did everything I could to get to the top. And then when I got to the top and I looked down, one, it's a broken system that needs fixed, which we're trying to fix. But more importantly, as I climbed, what I learned, I shared. Product development, policy fees, profitability of insurance companies, and understanding that if your policy stays on the books for 18 months, it's no good. So transparency is what I believe in. 18 months ago, not even really 12 months ago, we got into the Medicare space, primarily Advantage, because it certainly fits, very well with final expense. And there I am again, climbing to the top. And I'm getting there. And if you think transparency is needed on the life side, it's really needed on the Medicare side. And May 13th and 14th, I'm going to share what I've already learned. And I promise you're going to want to be there. I appreciate everyone's time. Justin, again, thank you. Tempest, thank you. I'm proud of everyone in this room. Keep working hard. Invest, give, support, focus on giving, and you'll receive more than you could ever imagine. Have a great day.
Give it up. Come on.
It's time to grow your agency like a guru. Introducing Go Guru Pro. The Go High Level platform allows for minimizing software-based subscriptions and grants control over several facets of marketing and communication. Automate your workflow, communicate with your leads, book appointments in advance, and house all your clients in one secure location. Visit goguru.pro and schedule your one-on-one demo today.